But I want to talk a little bit about Charlie Kirk and Target. So what's going on, right? Target. Target, the big box store that we all know and love. The slightly less horrible alternative to Walmart. Although Target is actually not half bad, to be honest. They seem to be a lot more progressive, at least. A little bit less exploitative than Walmart is. Although Walmart has cheaper prices, Walmart is also a shittier store all around. Like, just when you go inside, it's all like messed up and shitty concrete floors, stuff like that. I don't know. Fuck Walmart. Anyway, Target is, of course, all in when it comes to Pride merch. Now, here's the thing, right? There's a lot of criticism from people on the left when it comes to corporations kind of commercializing Pride Month. And for the most part, these criticisms are warranted. They'll say that, well, these are corporations that don't really care about this very much. They don't really care about the rights of gay or trans people, whatever. They just want to make money. And you know what? That's valid. That is valid. These are corporations that want to make money. That is their first and foremost job, is to make money. Please don't anybody ever forget that. These people are here to make money. They don't really care about you. And if they can make money by not acknowledging any diversity, especially when it came to gay or trans rights, they would do it. And the reason why corporations like, say, Target, for example, have decided to cater to this group is because they see it as a demographic where they can actually get some cash. And whether or not there's actually people on their boards or executive teams or whatever who actually are gay or trans or something like that and actually do want to make a difference, that's kind of irrelevant. That's just sort of a bonus. The ultimate goal is to make money, and if they're not making money, they're not going to do it. So, in that respect, Target is no different than any other corporation that's out there. But they seem to be pretty good when it comes to this kind of stuff. They have consistently, they've done things like, for example, Target organized their toys in such a way that they got rid of the boys and girls aisles. Even though it's like they're still sort of separated by, obviously, all the dolls for girls are in one aisle and all the action figures for boys are in another, stuff like that. They kind of got rid of the labels and stuff, so they would do things like that. They would do things like sort of superficial policy changes such as that. And for the last couple of years, they've been marketing to the gay, the LGBTQ communities in order when it came to Pride Month, right? And this year, out of all the last 6 or 7 years that they've been doing this is the year that the MAGA chuds decided to go crazy over it and lose their fucking minds, right? And they've started a boycott against Target, and it actually seems to be working. Well, we'll get to the articles in a minute. This has caused Charlie Kirk of Toilet Paper USA fame to go balls to the wall against Target in recent days. He's made several different tweets. I want to show you a few of these, right? Here's a couple. Let's turn on my laptop. This is Charlie Kirk. Target is very nervous. They will ruin their profits. They know we smell blood in the water. They fear you and hate you. You know what to do. They fear you. Now, here's the thing. This is what's called sarcastic terrorism. Right, that's what this is. Sarcastic terrorism is when you don't straight out tell people to go engage in violence. You just sort of set the stage for it. You use extremely violent rhetoric and you say things like this. They hate you, they fear and they hate you. And then you say something like, you know what to do. You notice how he's not actually saying go kill people. He's not actually saying go to a Target, start a fight, or start beating up people, or start assaulting people, or go tear down a thing, cause a big stink at Target, or... No, he's not actually telling people to do that. He's leaving it up to their interpretation to go do it. That's sarcastic terrorism. When a mob boss says, I wish someone would whack this guy, but doesn't actually tell somebody to go do it. Just sort of leaves that up to his lieutenants to say, oh, well, the boss wants this guy dead, so let's go take care of that. Charlie Kirk is well aware of what stochastic terrorism is and what it means. He's well aware of what his rhetoric does. And he knows that he has hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of followers. 11,000 likes, 2,531 retweets. People are listening to this asshole when he says these things. And because of this, there are now instances of violence in Target. People are going into Target and smashing up displays. They're yelling at people, right? They're threatening the workers with violence and stuff like that. Because that apparently is what the right wing does now when they boycott things. It's not good enough to just not buy stuff from people anymore if you're on the right wing. Like an adult. You know how an adult, when they don't like something, they just don't buy it. They go, oh, okay, well, that movie looks stupid. I'm not going to buy that. Oh, Chick-fil-A's being an asshole to gay people. I'm just not going to go to Chick-fil-A. Whatever. It's not good enough to do that anymore. Now they have to show up and actually smash things and yell at people and try to get people fired and crap like that. That's what's going on because of assholes like Charlie Kirk. Here's another one. Another tweet that Charlie Kirk did because he's balls to the wall against Target. I've obtained an exclusive internal email from a Target leadership to management. Target reaffirming their support for grooming kids and LGBTQIA plus content for minors. Target wants to lose another $9 billion. Let's help them. Let's read the email here. Team, I want to end the day where briefly stated on a note of care. This has been a very hard day for Target, and it follows many difficult days of deliberation and decision making. To our team in stores, thank you for steadfastly representing our values. No one is better at working through uncomfortable situations in service to an inclusive guest experience. What we've seen in recent days went well beyond discomfort, and it has been gut-wrenching to see what you've confronted in our aisles. To our team in the service centers, thank you for your patience and professionalism. Through high volumes of angry, abusive, threatening calls, I recognize how difficult and even frightening those interactions can be. And I thank you for the composure which you've fielded those comments to those teams who have been working so hard on our plans for Pride. Now you are showing incredible agility as we adjust. Thank you. Your efforts will ensure we can still show up and celebrate Pride in meaningful ways. To the LGBTQIA plus community, one of the hardest parts in all of this was trying to contemplate how the adjustments we're making to alleviate these threats to our team's physical and psychological safety would impact you and your well-being and psychological safety. We stand with you now, and cut off. What is he referring to here? So basically, because assholes like Charlie Kirk have been stoking their followers and engaging in stochastic terrorism and basically encouraging violence, then there's been a large number, if this is true, if this is an actual email from Target, because you got to remember these guys lie. People like Charlie Kirk lie. So if this is an actual email and Target actually is dealing with these kinds of problems, that means that there's been threats of violence. That means there's been assholes walking through their aisles, smashing up displays, yelling at people, stuff like that. It means they've been getting phone calls and all that kind of thing. So they're sort of pulling it back because they're afraid of what could happen. They're afraid of violence. They're afraid of the right wing showing up. Some asshole taking it too far, showing up with a fucking shotgun or an AR-15 and murdering people in one of their stores. Charlie Kirk sees this email and is egging them on. Look at this. Target reaffirming their support for grooming kids. Because you got to remember, they have to take it from that angle. They have to say that it's children, right? The big thing is that, like, one of the things that they're objecting to is a bikini where you can tuck away your junk. You can tuck that away and wear this bikini and be passing if you're a trans woman. And they're saying that one of the big things on the right is like, oh, they're selling this tuck bikini to children, but the bikini is not being sold to children. It's not being sold to children. It's being sold to adults. There is no children's merchandise. There is no children's Pride merchandise. It's being sold to adults, especially that bikini. They may have shirts that are like in size, like small sizes or whatever. But that bikini is being sold to adults. But they have to lie about that. They have to frame it because that's the only way that being an anti-trans bigot asshole is acceptable is they have to frame it as in they're defending the kids, because in real life, being a trans person, being a gay person, being an LGBTQIA plus person is not only 100% legal, but it's an expression of the First Amendment. That's what that ultimately is. It's not an expression of freedom of speech per se, but the way that your sexuality, your gender that you express is a form of speech. It is. It's a form of speech, ultimately. Because what actually is speech? Well, speech is expression, is it not? You are expressing who you are, and you're often, nowadays it's been politicized. So being gay or trans or whatever, or bi, or, part of the LGBTQIA plus community, that's been politicized. So now that can be classified as a political expression to some degree. Although I think that's bullshit, but that's what the rationale is, according to these assholes. And if that's the case, if it actually is a political expression, then that means it's protected by the First Amendment. Isn't that true? You can't have it both ways. It either is a political expression or it isn't. And if it's political speech, it's protected by the First Amendment. So the only way that they can frame that and not come off like they're violating the First Amendment is to say that it's marketed towards children. And that's why you see over and over in every TV show, in every tweet, in every article, in every YouTube video, where these people are spouting anti-trans rhetoric, anti-trans hate, they always frame it as if they are just want to protect the little children. Every single time. We need to protect kids from these molesters. Every single time. When in real life, it has nothing to do with that whatsoever. When in real life, it's about them obstructing the First Amendment rights of the LGBTQ community. That's what it is. It's about, that's what it ultimately, this is what it's a fight over. This is ultimately a fight over the First Amendment. Not necessarily, it falls within free speech. Freedom of expression, freedom of association. That's what this is. That's what the fight over gay rights and trans rights and all of the other laws out there that stop puberty blockers for minors or stop trans people from getting trans-affirming care, or ban books because they have gay people in them or trans people in them, or they were written by a gay person or something like that, removing books out of libraries all across the state, or stopping trans girls from competing in sports. It's unconstitutional. That's why it's unconstitutional, because it goes against the First Amendment. He doesn't understand that, because to him, because to people like Charlie Kirk, only Christians are allowed to have First Amendment rights. By the way, the 9 billion thing, where it says their Target wants to lose another 9 billion, what's going on with that? Target's it has to do with their stock price. Target's revenue is not down by $9 billion. Their stock went down $9 billion. Whether that has to do with this boycott or not, I highly doubt it. I highly doubt that the right-wing MAGA chuds who are actually engaging in this boycott have managed to lose Target $9 billion. Because here's the other thing, folks. A lot of Republicans and shit out there, they might be on board with this stuff, but are they going to not shop at Target because of that? No. They're going to go to fucking Target. You know why? Because in a lot of places around the country, Target's the only place where you can go fucking shop. Target and Walmart and big box stores, that's all there is. Right? So what's the alternative? Drive another 5 miles, go to Walmart? Fuck that. They're just going to go to Target. So most people are just ignoring this shit. It's, so I highly doubt that their boycott has managed to lose Target for pretty much any revenue. Here's the other thing. Target, the company, the corporation, is worth $65 billion. So they're not going out of business anytime soon. It's a downturn in the stock market, which means that by this time next week, it could just be back to where it is. Stock market goes up and down all the goddamn time, and it could be related to lots of different things. I read an article about how organized retail theft is biting into Target's bottom line and stuff like that. Not just Target, but like lots of retail all over the place. There's this organized, like, gangs of retail theft where people go in and steal clothes and electronics and shit and resell them online. Is really fucking up retail, big box stores and that kind of thing, right? So who knows if that's actually what's true, but they're going to take any win that they can. Here's a video of Charlie Kirk. Pain is a teacher. Charlie Kirk encourages his audience to bankrupt Target for selling Pride merchandise. Let's listen to what... This is only about a minute, 17 seconds. Let's listen to what Charlie Kirk has to say about Target. Let me just make that a little smaller so the YouTube algorithm does not mess me up.
Welcome back in just a minute.
No, I want to make it big.
We'll have Rich Barris back, but there's something really exciting happening with Target, everybody. So Target has a target on their back. Target is freaking out. Target is holding emergency meetings. They're worried that they're losing their customer base. Everybody, keep the pressure on. We need to go after Target in a very serious way. It is time for decent, ordinary Americans who do not believe in radical ideas in either direction to just say, I will not allow my kids to be corrupted by this trans agenda. And it looks, Target looks like they're caving. They say they're putting the clothes in the back. I want Target to go bankrupt.
You see that? You notice how even right there, he framed it as protecting the little children. Right? We want to protect our kids. You know how you could protect your kids from Target? Right? You could just not bring the kids shopping with you when you go to Target. Or you could just not shop at Target. Problem solved. That's it. Just don't go there. And I'm sure all the people at Target would appreciate it if you just didn't go there. And that's it. That's what a normal, if you don't like a place, nobody, that's the great thing about this country, right? Is that you are free to spend your money wherever you want. There's nobody forcing your ass to go to Target. If you don't like Target, then just don't go to fucking Target. The end. But that's not what's happening. What's happening is that these assholes are going in there and starting shit. Yelling at people. Breaking things. Threatening people. That's what's actually fucking happening. It's not, it's not good enough that they just take their hard-earned, red-blooded American dollars or whatever and go some other fucking place and shop at some other place. That they have to threaten people about it. Listen to what Charlie Kirk says about that. Keep up the pressure, right? So rewind it just a little bit.
Trans agenda, and it looks looks like they're caving. They say they're putting the clothes in the back. I want Target to go bankrupt. I want them to close. I want Chapter 11. Okay.
Somebody else can buy them up.
No,
somebody conservative. Because there could be a bunch of empty buildings.
Yeah, no, I want them to go Chapter 11. People say, what does success look like? Chapter 11. Okay. I want skull and bones all the way down to the absolute nails of the stores. Yeah, that's the only thing they understand is force. Pain is a teacher. And the pain of crossing the line to pervert our children and grooming them, it's going to be a lesson I hope corporate America watches because...
Listen to that verbiage there. All right, listen to what he's saying. Listen to the language he's using. Pain is a teacher. I want skull and bones all the way down to the nails. Now imagine that you are... here's the thing. It's like... Charlie Kirk knows that his audience is not 100% there. He knows that there are plenty of wackos and crazies in his audience which will engage in violence. He has personally talked to some of them. Here's a guy not that long ago. Remember this guy? Here's another Twitter thing. This is from 1 year ago, roughly 1 year ago. This is Charlie Kirk with Toilet Paper USA when somebody comes up to him at one of his shows and asks him a question.
You're brave for what you say and the fact that you stand up there and say it, and I appreciate it. I think we all appreciate it, actually, because there's not a lot of people that have the balls to do it. But I want to ask you something a little bit out of the ordinary, so prepare yourself. At this point, we're living under corporate and medical fascism. This is tyranny. When do we get to use the guns? No, and I'm not, that's not a joke. I'm not saying it like that. I mean, literally, where's the line? How many elections are they going to steal before we kill these people?
So, no, no, hold on. No, stop. Hold on. Now I'm going to denounce.
You hear that? That's at one of his events. That's his audience. Now, Charlie Kirk, for his, goes on to denounce that in a very sort of milquetoast kind of way. He doesn't get up and say, no violence is ever needed, we shouldn't do it. He gets up and says, like, this is what they want you to do and all this other crap, right? Like, tries to use reverse psychology on him or whatever. So I guess technically, yeah, he did say don't do it, right? Just in a fucking, like, really sort of wormy, cretinous way. That's what Charlie Kirk is also cretin. But this is his audience. He knows this is his audience. He, like I said, he has spoken to these people personally. He knows how excitable they get. He knows what the effect of his words have on such people like this, right? That's why he's able to manipulate them so easily, because his audience is filled with insane people, with ridiculous, idiotic, insane people who want to go out and murder. They want to go out and kill people. That's what they want, right? And he's sitting here stoking these fires, saying, you know what to do. I want to see them Chapter 11. I want to see piles of skulls and bones. Here's the thing. Target seems to be capitulating. Let's turn this shit off here. Let's get rid of all that shit and open up this news article here. Target, for their part, seems to be capitulating. Right, let's open this up a little bit. This is from MSNBC. Target quietly moves Pride merchandise in some stores as conservative activists declare victory. Target came under intense scrutiny this week after retail giant announced it was pulling some LGBTQ-themed merchandise following a corporate spokesperson described as threats impacting our team members' sense of safety, well-being while at work. Target customers posted videos on TikTok showing that the Pride merchandise displays have been moved to less visible locations, including the back of the store. So, we don't really need to read this entire thing, right? Long story short, in fact, we can just turn this off. We don't really need to read the whole thing here. But what's really going on is that in some of the stores, they're going and they're moving the Pride displays back to the back. In some of the southern stores in the south, they're taking them out completely. In some other places that have received complaints, they're putting them, like they had them up in the front of the store, and they're moving them back to the women's section, things like that, right? Now, it's easy to sit here and be like, oh, Target capitulated to the fear and terrorists and all that, and they're letting the right-wing fucking dictate to them and all that. But I am going to be on Target's side here. Because Target is a business, like we just got finished saying. They're a corporation, right? Their job is to make money for their stockholders, right? That's what they're there for. That's what corporations are legally required to do, is to make money, right? So they're not, so when it comes to, especially like something like this, where people are being threatened, the last thing they want is for violence in their stores. The last thing they want is for a mass shooter to show up in their store, right? And murder a bunch of people. Because not only does that hold them, liable, people will associate Target with mass shootings and crap like that, it loses them money. The first thing. Second thing is they don't want people to die, obviously. You work for a corporation, you don't want people to die in your store. Like, even if you're the fucking CEO or whatever, it's like, you remember CEOs and executives and shit, they're people too. They're not monsters. No one is going to sit here and be like, oh, well, we should do nothing while all these maniacs threaten. And I've seen people talk about, well, what they should do is they should hire security. It's like, yeah, well, that's all well and good. But what's that going to do when a fucking maniac shows up with an AR-15 and fucking shoots 17 people in one of their stores? What's the security guard going to do? Right? What? Jump in front of the bullet? Like, no. What do you want to shoot out in one of the targets? So no, I understand completely, and I'm on Target's side. Target is just a company. It's just a store. All they want to do is sell shit. So they should not be putting people at risk. I'll put it that way. Target should not be putting their employees at risk. They should not be putting the people that shop there at risk, right? I shop Target all the time. In fact, I'm going to go there probably today. I get my groceries at Target because the groceries at Target are actually affordable. And I notice if I go to like Ralph's, for example, it'll be super fucking expensive. And I'll end up spending like $300. And if I go to Target, I'll end up spending like 180 for like the exact same shit. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, there's no item that's over $4 in the grocery aisle for Target. Everything is really affordable. And so, yeah, I shop there all the fucking time, right? It's like, I'm going there today. In fact, I'm going to go there, and I think I'm going to buy some Bud Light while I'm there, too, because fuck them. Right? I'm going to shop at Target and buy Bud Light. Target is, they're not activists. They're not warriors. They're just a company made of people that want to sell shit, and that's how it should be. That's right. So I don't disparage anyone, the corporation of Target or the people that work at Target for not wanting to put other people in danger. Like, I'm on their side. So how can you help them? Well, you could shop at Target. Right? That's what you can do. If you want to help them, shop at Target. Make them make a lot of money. And you know what you can also do? Believe it or not, this really helps as well. Comment on social media about how this stuff is ridiculous. And flag Target. Because that's the thing. See, that matters more, like, to their marketing, right? That will make a bigger impact, believe it or not. Because companies like Target, they pay very, very close attention to social media and what's trending. And if it starts trending, if like say hashtag support Target, support LGBTQ rights, if that starts trending, then they will reverse course. If they think that more people are in support of them than are against them, then that makes a huge difference. That it really does. And I'm not even kidding when I tell you that. I know this happens because I used to work for a market research company, and this is what we did. We would actually do this. So you create bots that would go to Twitter and Facebook and and other social media like that, and basically scrape those sites for mentions of various companies. Mainly it was auto companies is what we marketed for. And then we would judge like which ones, how many positives versus how many negatives, that kind of thing. And then we would sell that back to the company, saying like, see, here's where you're being rated. This is what people are saying about your latest car model or whatever. I know that's a thing that happens because that's what I used to do. So that makes a difference. I mean, like it or not, this is another front in the culture war. We should not be in denial that we actually are in a culture war, because we are. We're in a culture war. Boycotts like this matter now. So do you want to win the culture war and actually change people's hearts and minds? I think we ought to jump into it. I think there's been a lot of reluctance on the left and in different progressive circles to engage like this. Because the MAGA chuds and the conservative assholes and the bigots and the fucking Nazis are all 100% in. And that's where they spend like their entire just waking fucking moment sitting about like what can we hate next this week. If we don't do anything to speak out against these people, then it allows them to set the narrative. So that's what's important when I talk about culture war. It's all about setting the narrative. What do you want your politicians to pay attention to? Because here's the thing, folks, right? Why do you think the Republican, like GOP, the Republican establishment is so hardcore in right now at the moment with the anti-trans stuff at this moment? Why? Because that's what their constituents want. They see this is what our constituents are yelling about. This is what they're crazy about. And now that's why within the last couple of years, that's why all of these laws start getting passed all over the place. Right. I mean, among other reasons. There's other reasons too, but this is one of the reasons why. One of the reasons why is because they say, hey, this is what our constituents want, and if we pass laws relating to this stuff, we'll get reelected. Right? Well, do you want politicians to pass laws that favor you? Do you want politicians to start passing laws like to undo some of these hateful laws, like, you know, the trans gender bans and the book bans and stuff like that, and to start allowing children to like actually express themselves again, and to not have fucking institutionalized bigotry when it comes to, like, you know, trans affirming care, stuff like that? You want to get rid of some of this shit? Then you got to tell them what you want. Well, this is part of the way that you do that, is by engaging in shit like this and supporting the things that align with what you want. That's what a culture war actually is. The reason why when I say it's important is because we've seen what happens when you lose the culture war. That's what happened when you lose the culture war in Florida, for example. You get laws that say, oh, the state can take away your kid if they're getting trans affirming care. That's a result of a loss there. If you don't want that to happen elsewhere in the country, that's what you have to fight against that. And this is actually one way of being active, is where you choose to spend your money. Because we all need food, we all need clothes, we all need things like Band-Aids and shampoo and all that crap, and you got to get it from somewhere. And unless you're like 100% like, I only shop at small businesses or whatever, it's like, okay, that's fine, good, yeah, whatever, right? You know, but the majority of us don't have time for that shit. Most of us don't have the time, the access, or the money to afford only shopping at 100% small businesses that have sustainable fucking practices and shit like that. Most people out there don't have the time for that, or the cash, because that shit's expensive. It's much easier to go to Target. Budget yourself. And let's be real, that's where people are going to go. So if you have to buy stuff, why not buy it from places that align with you and send the message that you like helping people? Think of it like that, you know, because it's very cringe. You know, when people think of culture war shit, it turns them off. And they think, oh, this is ridiculous, it's stupid, blah, 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 right? In the meantime, the conservatives and stuff are out there passing laws banning people, taking away people's kids and everything based on this shit. It's like, you gotta fight back, folks. So, support the people out there that deserve your support, I guess is what I'm saying. Hello folks, if you like what I do and you want to support the channel, please consider buying something from my Etsy shop, supporting me on Patreon, liking and subscribing, and checking me out across my social media links listed below. Thank you all so much, and see you next time.